Before we begin our service, I want to thank all of you who came here this evening for the blessings of being together with your community and understanding that Rosh Hashanah was scheduled long before the Bears-Packers game was. We so appreciate you that we will be updating you throughout the evening to the score. Actually, when we switch to the new Machzor in a few years, instead of buying a prayer book, you can download it to your phone, and it has a Bears game option in the app and a Candy Crush option. Here we are together again to hear the call of the shofar, to be called to wake up. This time of year, the essence of renewal and the sound of the ancient ram's horn encourages us to become fully present to our experience. And it is my hope that this high holiday time that is taken in spiritual contemplation will prove to be a renewing experience for you. This is my 14th year to be standing before you as your rabbi. I see many familiar faces as I look around the sanctuary, some who are in their regular seats, and others who are new to the community and experiencing this for the first time. So let's take a moment to stand up and find someone you don't know and welcome them, and let's connect to one another. For those who are not aware, we have an interpreter this evening, as well as on Kol Nidre and Yom Kippur afternoon. And to my right, there is a screen that is not the Packers game. It is the words of the service for those who need assistance and to be able to read what's happening in live time can do so. So if anyone would like to avail themselves of that, please feel free. That whole area is set up so everyone can see the screen, and we will be having that at every holiday in our congregation as part of our inclusion initiative. During the High Holiday services, many members of the congregation will come to the Bema to participate in leading the service. We give honors to members of the congregation who have given of their time during the past year. There is no hierarchy of parts. We assign parts in alphabetical order, and each year we start at a different place in the alphabet. So when we invite people with honors to come forward, please come and sit here in the front row. When it is your turn, step forward and go ahead and read. We call these holidays the days of awe. Thus, we want to create an appropriate atmosphere here in the sanctuary. So we ask that you please turn off your cell phone. Please limit your coming and going. And if you must leave during the service, please use one of the main doors. The other doors have signs saying emergency exits only for use in case of emergency. And also know that we recite together passages from the prayer book. We may be saying different things because we have two different editions of the Machzor. We have the newer books which have the gender-neutral language and the older ones which don't. But both books do the job. We have a long-standing custom of inviting the president of our congregation to speak to us at the beginning of our High Holiday services, and we are honored to have Robert Honig serving as our president.
Shana Tova. It's been another remarkable year for our congregation. Thank you to all of our members for your support, and to all of our guests, welcome to Congregation Etz Chaim. We're glad to have you here with us as we celebrate this Rosh Hashanah. Now, if I had my druthers, I would talk again this year about the Congregational retreat like I did last year, but I won't because I have another important matter to discuss. You see, I'd like to talk about the retreat because it was such a terrific event. We had 170 Etz Chaim members up in Economowoc, Wisconsin. We had fun activities for the kids and for the adults. We learned a little. We had services together. We even had a poker tournament. I won't say who the winner was of the poker tournament. Let's just say it was a guy who has two thumbs. Most importantly, we strengthened our community by building our friendships with one another. And if I had time to talk about it, I would mention that the retreat next year will be April 5th through 7th. Mark your calendars, and I suggest you sign up early. I first came to visit Etz Chaim with my wife, Lisa, in 1995. We knew Etz Chaim was an established institution. By then, it had been here for 35 years. As we are today, the congregants were welcoming, but the building was not quite what it is today. In the lobby, there was a model of an expanded and improved synagogue building. The plan was ambitious. Many of you, I'm sure, remember. For those of you who weren't here to see this plan, you don't have to use your imagination. You're sitting in it. This is the building that we built, the expanded building. That project was a tremendous accomplishment, and thank you to all of the members who were here who made this building what it is. Soon enough, the work was complete, and my family joined Etz Chaim as new members. We were young, with a preschool kid, and one on the way, in a brand spanking new building. The 90s were good for Etz Chaim. People were investing in Beanie Babies, watching Seinfeld, and signing up for America Online. I'm no longer a new member, and I'm not young. My preschool kid is now in law school, and our building is still terrific, but it's a bit tired. We've known for a while that the building needs some help, but there was a recession. There were other immediate needs. It wasn't the right time. Now the recession is over, and our budget is balanced. As we approach our 60th anniversary next year, it's our responsibility to take a look at our building and make appropriate improvements. And we don't need a major expansion like we did 20-some years ago, but we have needs beyond mere maintenance, and this is the right time to address them. I've been forming a committee that will look at our building's needs and make improvements that are right for our community. Their charge will be to accomplish this while respecting the values and the history of our congregation. There will be other guidelines as well. Most notably, whatever this project is, we're not increasing our mortgage and we're not taking any funding from the congregation's foundation. This will ensure that our improvements to our building coincide with a fiscally sustainable future. The committee's first task will be to hear what you think. And when you hear from them, please let them know. Our 60th anniversary is right around the corner. Let's ensure that our building reflects the vibrancy of our community. Oh, excuse me. Shalom. I said the retreat is April 5th through 7th.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'll see you there, and I look forward to seeing all of you there as well. Shana Tova.
We invite forward at this time Ronnie Markwell, Marcia Sweeten, Harvey Siegel, Pacey Ostroff, Brooke Albert, and Mark Piachak.
We turn now in our Machzorim to page 17 as we bless our holiday candles.
Help unite our hearts and the hearts of all Jews to serve you. Illuminate our lives with the light of your Torah, for by your light do we see light. Grant us this year a glimpse of the light of redemption, the light of healing and of peace. Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel
Yom Tov.
We now turn in our Machzorim to page 42 for the Kiddush.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagofein. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol olam. V'rohu memanu mikol oshon, v'kiddushanu b'mitzvotav. Vatiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu v'yahava et yom hazikaron hazeh yom teruah mikra kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Yatanu kidashta mikol hamim, udavarecha emet v'kayam lad, baruch atah Adonai, melech al kol hores, mekadesh Israel v'yom hazikaron. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Anu lazman hazeh.
As we enter into this joyous time, we say the Shechianu, the blessing that shows how wonderful and joyous it is that we are doing this once again this year. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Our next reading will actually come from our pamphlet, which you have on your chairs. These readings come from the new Machzorim coming from the URJ, from the Union of Reform Judaism.
This autumn night, the shades of darkness in the sky are signs of Earth's turning toward the fleeting ways of nature. And we, drawn together in this holy house, filled with New Year's hope and light, turn our prayers to you. In prayer, in worship, seeking life's essence. In the presence of your love, we feel the nearness of those who bless our lives, even in death. Precious memories of their love restore our strength, renew our faith in life's goodness. We acknowledge with gratitude the life you have given us, the bounty that sustains us, your comfort in sickness and sorrow, your compassion in valleys of despair. God of years, God of eternity, bless us now and always. Bless our homes and families. Be with us in our dreams and in our hopes. Be with us through these days of awe as we search our souls within and see the lasting shelter of your love.
We continue now on page 21 with Esa Enai.
On the bottom of page 21. God of our people, hear our prayer. We who speak are Jews. Remember the bush you kindled once in the desert air years ago on Horeb's lonely sand, that fire you lit to set these centuries aflame, and say to us your endless, perfect name. I am what I will be. It burns eternally now, that light upon our altars now. Against the night, and there are deserts still. We are the Jews. We do not forget. The mountain smoked and the dismayed multitude stood off, hearing the first time the words they could not refuse, fearing the burden and the God that set them into history. And there are mountains still. We are the Jews. We cannot forget. We come here then, but something far more deep compels. The ancient desert dream we keep, a people touched by God, a certain grace that tells of you. We are locked with you in old identity, remembering the lightning of that place. Something in us of your awesome will, something of that mountain's thunder still.
בחודש השביעי, באחד לחודש יהיה לכם שבתון, זיכרון תרועה מקרא קודש, כל מלאכת עבודה לא תעשו. In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, there shall be a sacred assembly, a cessation from work, a day of commemoration, proclaimed by the sound of the shofar. We now rise in either body or spirits.
Arminu Elohim.
Yehi ratzon milfanecha, Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, Shetchadesh aleinu v'al kol Beit Yisrael, et hashana hazot, Shenat chameshet alafim, ushva meot ushvaim v'tesha, lechaim u'shalom, lesason u'simcha, lishu'ah u'nechema v'nomar. Amen. May it be your will, eternal our God, God of all generations, that the year 5779 bring to us and the whole house of Israel life and peace, joy and exultation, redemption and comfort. And let us say, Amen.
Please be seated. It is my pleasure to invite forward at this time Gary Pollier, Grace Piachak, Sasha Zellinger, and Susan Push. We continue on the bottom of page 24.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma potea she'arim, uvitvuna mishana itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsadir et hakokavim, b'mishmerotechem barakia kirtzono, b'rei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshe, v'choshe mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai tziva'ot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
The bottom of page 25. And how unyielding is the will of our people, Israel. After the long nights, after the days and years when our ashes blacken the sky, Israel endures, heart still turned to love, soul still to life. So the day and night, early and late, will rejoice in the study of Torah. We will walk by the midst of they are the light and length of our days. Praise be the source of life and love in Israel, our people.
We continue with the Shema on page 26. Will the congregation please rise? Please be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh Asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam bishivtecha bevetecha uvlechtecha vaderech uvshochbecha uvkumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkeru, va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, vitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
What does it mean to be a Jew? You shall be holy.
In the face of the many to stand for the one, in the presence of fragments to make them whole.
What does it mean to be a Jew? You shall be a holy people.
To hold fast to our vision of truth, to retain our faith in tomorrow.
Holy in our past is the memory of redemption from Egyptian bondage.
Holy in our days is the hope of redemption we still await.
Twice as holy in our past are those who gave us the lives to hollow this world.
Holy is the Jew today and tomorrow, who bears witness to the goodness of life.
And holy are those who lives our songs in freedom cause.
May we lie down this night in peace and rise up to life renewed. May night spread over us a shelter of peace, of quiet and calm, the blessing of rest. There will come a time when morning will bring no word of war or famine or anguish. There will come a day of happiness, of contentment and peace. Praised be the source of joy within us for the night and its rest, for the promise of peace. It is now my pleasure to invite up Ruben Pena, Art Porton, Ken Markwell, Daniel Frankel, Linda, and Howard Pfeffer. We turn now to page 30 as we rise neither body or spirit for our Amidah.
Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. זכרנו לחיים, וחפץ בחיים, מלך חפץ
Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who strive to be holy declare your glory day by day. Everyone may be seated.
Eternal God, 32, middle of the page. Eternal God, cause all your works to stand in awe before you, and all that you have made to tremble at your presence. Let all that lives revere you, and all creation turn to you in worship. Let them all become a single family, doing your will with a perfect heart. For well we know, eternal God, that yours is the majesty, yours the might, and awesome is your name in all creation. Grant honor to your people, glory to those who revere you,
hope to those who seek you, and courage to those who trust you. Bless your land with gladness and the city with joy, and cause the light of redemption to come for all who dwell on earth.
Then the just shall see and exult, the upright be glad, and the faithful sing for joy. Violence shall rage no more, and evil shall vanish like smoke. The rule of tyranny shall pass away from the earth, and you alone shall reign over all your works, as it is written. You are holy, awesome is your name. There is no God but you, as it is written.
The God of all beings, exalted by justice, the holy God is sanctified by righteousness.
Blessed is our God, the Holy Sovereign.
In love and favor, O God, you have chosen us from all the peoples, hallowing us with your mitzvot. Our sovereign, you have summoned us to your service, that through us your great and holy name may become known in all the earth. In your love, O God, you have given us this day of remembrance to hear the sound of the shofar, to unite in worship, and to recall the exodus from Egypt. This day remember us for well-being. Amen. This day bless us with your nearness. Amen. This day help us to live. Amen.
Our God and God of our ancestors, may you rule in glory over all the earth, and let your grandeur be acclaimed throughout the world. Reveal the splendor of your majesty to all who dwell on earth, that all your works may know you as their maker, and all the living acknowledge you as their creator. Then all who breathe shall say, the sovereign God of Israel is the one whose dominion extends to all creation. Our God and God of our ancestors, sanctify us with your mitzvot, and let your Torah be our way of life. Sanctify us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. For you, O God, are truth, and your word is true forever. Blessed is the Eternal, who hallows the house of Israel and the day of remembrance.
Be gracious, eternal God, to your people, Israel, and receive our prayers with love. O may our worship always be acceptable to you. Fill us with the knowledge that you are near to all who seek you in truth. Pour out your Spirit upon us. Let our eyes behold your presence in our midst and in the midst of your people in Zion. Blessed is the Eternal, whose presence is life, and Israel. We would greatly acknowledge that you are an eternal God and God of our people, the God of all generations. You are the rock of our life, the power that shields us in every age. We thank you and sing your praises, our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your keeping, for the miracles which are daily with us. these things, O sovereign God, let your name be forever exalted and blessed, and let life abundant be the heritage of all the children of your covenant. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name. In truth, eternal God, whose nature is goodness, we give you thanks and praise.
Israel,
please rise. Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu. Our Father, our King, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu Lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu Chamol Aleinu Va'al Olalenu V'tapenu. Avinu Malkeinu Kalei Dever V'cherev V'ra'av Me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, make an end to sickness, war, and famine.
Avinu Malkeinu Kala Kol Tsar Umastin Me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, make an end to all oppression.
Avinu Malkeinu Kotvenu B'Sefer Chaim Tovim.
Our Father, our King, inscribe us for blessing in the book of life.
Avinu Malkeinu Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova.
Our Father, our King, let the new year be a good year for us.
Avinu Malkeinu Charem Kerem Yisrael Amecha.
Our Father, our King, give strength to your people Israel.
Avinu Malkeinu Chanenu Va'anenu Ki Ein Banu Ma'asim. Aseh Imanu Tzedakah V'Chesed V'Hoshi Einu. Avinu Malkeinu, be gracious and answer us, for we have little merit. Treat us generously and with kindness, and hear us.
Everyone may be seated. Rapid City, South Dakota was my first student pulpit when I was in rabbinical school. And I actually have to tell you, I loved this pulpit. It was a fun congregation, and Rapid City happens to be surrounded by some really beautiful areas. And the areas were made even better because of the host who always put me up when I was in town. Stan was a South Dakota state senator and would often be in Pierre, the capital, doing all the things for which he was responsible. Now, Stan had many houses, and when I would stay at one of his houses, I would often be all alone. I was either at his house in Rapid City, which I think overlooked some really beautiful parts of the city, or his house just about 20 miles away, which overlooked Mount Rushmore. But in any event, when I went to the pulpit, it was rare that I would see my host. On my last visit, I flew into South Dakota at about 11 in the morning and got to the house around 1. It was still several hours until dinner and services, so I decided, as I sometimes do, to go for a run. And as I always did, even though I was unobserved, I took off my dress shoes at the door and then went on my run. I went into the room where I stayed, put on my clothes, and then just went on out. I got back, worked on my sermon and service for the night, showered, and then changed for services. I was on my way out when I couldn't find my dress shoes. Now, I thought I'd put them right by the front door, but they were nowhere to be seen. I checked all over the house, any place I'd been, but still, no shoes. Now, I couldn't wear a suit and running shoes. It wasn't Yom Kippur after all. So, before going to synagogue, I drove to the local Kmart and picked up just, the cheapest pair of black shoes I could find. The rest of the night went well. Dinner and services were great, and it was time for the oneg. And during the oneg, I was doing my usual schmoozing when I noticed Stan. He was not at dinner, so he must have snuck in sometime during services. I greeted him, and he explained he came back earlier that day and was just going around running errands. It was at this time I looked down and saw he was wearing my shoes. Now, there are some things that rabbinical school prepares us for, and there are some things which it does not. And I was not ready for this scenario. So I never said anything. And as far as I know, he still has those shoes. And sometimes I think about them, where they are now, what become of them, all because I didn't act. On Rosh Hashanah, we read the story of Abraham almost sacrificing his son Isaac. However, tonight, I would like to discuss the relationship not that he had with Isaac, but the one that he had with his parents. Abraham's father is named Terach. We do not know the name of Abraham's mother from just the Genesis narrative, which continues, unfortunately, in absence of a female perspective from which we could have all benefited. What we do know, though, is Terach is a polytheist and worships many gods. Terach, in Hebrew, means silly old fool, and although Terach was not against the move to Canaan, it was obvious that Abraham and Sarah were who God chose as the first monotheists. In the Midrash, a collection of rabbinic laws and stories, there's another tale about Terach. Well, more accurately about Abraham, just with Terach's shop. You may be familiar with this account. When Abraham, then Avram, was working in his father's store, Avram destroyed all the idols sculpted by his father. He did this because idolatry was a sin, and there was only one God, not many. Now, the rabbis initially praise Abraham for this act. However, there is an issue which is raised. As you can see, the fifth of the 10 commandments is to honor our father and our mother. Was Abraham doing this when he destroyed his father's idols? There are a few answers to this question. Some say Abraham wouldn't know the fifth commandment because it wouldn't be written until hundreds of years after his death. And others say some commandments have more importance and can outweigh other laws. Whatever the answer with which you agree, it is important to note that even in the nuance, Abraham acted. In destroying the idols, he was not idle. This idea of action against polytheism is represented in our most famous prayer, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Now, bringing in the story of Abraham we just heard, it would make sense that one would be a reference to God being the only God, as we are, of course, monotheists. However, it is also possible that the one is actually the mathematical understanding of one, not that God is singular, but that God is whole. This was the understanding taken by Hermann Cohen, an early 20th century Jewish philosopher. God was whole, an ethical ideal. As humans, it is impossible to reach that 100% that God is. However, that doesn't mean we can't get close. Each action we take can bring us towards that wholeness. If our actions have a positive impact, our action has a number, according to Cohen, which is between the tiniest bit above 0 to the tiniest bit below 1. If our actions have a negative impact, then our score is just below 0 to just about -1. Something we don't always discuss, though, is not about our negative actions, but about our inactions, when we are not positive or negative, but in fact 0. The world was not changed at all by us, and in a world which is constantly moving, inaction can sometimes be unethical. And as monotheists in this frame, good action toward a more equitable and understanding future is actually a religious act. Now, there are, of course, reasons that we may not act. I don't know what to do. This particular issue, has nothing to do with me, and I don't understand anything about it. And, of course, I can understand points from both sides. Now, these are things all of which I have said, and I believe a lot of us have said when faced with an issue. These are all excuses for us to be inactive, to be idle, to be 0. These explanations of foregoing immediate action are not bad. In fact, Hermann Cohen was a big advocate in understanding as many perspectives as possible before making a decision. However, these cannot be excuses for inaction, only explanations for delayed action. There are times when I have used these phrases as an excuse to do nothing. Now think about our original story. Abraham perhaps knew he needed to honor his father, but also knew it was wrong to worship idols. If he had not acted, I think there would have been another idol in the story, the idolatry of idleness, which I will call tonight idolatry. We are sometimes all guilty of this idolatry, not knowing what to do, so we do nothing. But sometimes we really don't know what is the best path forward. Now, going back to my story, I was unable to have an uncomfortable conversation that I had not had before, which led to my inaction. And I think in some ways, to not commit this sin, we must do research. This is perhaps more important now than ever. We're living in an age where truth is sometimes surpassed by sensation. We've all seen articles which will pique our interest at the least and boil our blood at the most. Now, there are sometimes this is necessary, as there are many terrible things which happen in this world, things which we are even partly responsible and even may be able to help fix. However, if we read something which prompts us immediately to that action, or something which puts us in a place where we will be guilty of that idolatry, research, I believe, should be our first action. What are my values, and how does this issue run contrary to them? Going and finding reputable sources which discuss this subject. A few months ago, along with our Social Action Committee, our congregation acted to help reunite children with their parents. When this issue was first brought forward, I saw a couple of things being shared which were later found to be either untrue or not related to the issue that people were sharing. And I actually saw this coming from both sides of the political aisle. So much so that it helped many of us to be idle, as we didn't know what to do. In this way, even sometimes immediate action can lead to inaction, as it can cloud the truth. But the truth and that way forward, I believe, is represented in a wonderful ideal brought to us from the book of Isaiah. We read this part during the high holiday period where it said, "Kings shall tend your children, queens will be their nurses, and they will bow their face to the ground to kiss the dust from your feet." Now, I think there are many ways to interpret this verse, but the way I think that this vision should be interpreted is where the rich tend to the destitute actually describes a system where everyone in a society, no matter their position, will work together to bring up all in their midst. The vision is not that one day the people on the bottom will one day be rulers, but that even rulers will care and provide support for everyone in their rule. So action's purpose, and in this case I think monotheism's purpose, is to act to make a more equitable world. Now we are fortunate to be in a country where any citizen, no matter their position, can influence the direction we go. Our elected officials who rule are working for all of us in our nation. We can only bring this vision of an equitable future in Isaiah to light, though, by getting involved and by voting. It is our goal to have our congregation, Etz Chaim, be a 100% voting congregation. And I think that we can accomplish this in a few different ways. First, a lot of you already vote, and if that's the case, you don't have to listen to the rest of the sermon. However, we'll also be sending out emails with links of how we can register to vote online, how we can register by mail, or even send in our ballots. And if you don't want to do that, we'll also have many congregants here who are registrants who can register you right here at Congregation Etz Chaim. Of course, registration, though, is only half the battle. Voting in this upcoming election is the next part. And to help accomplish this aspect of the process, we will be creating congregational groups. You may get an email coming up to the election or in the next couple of months just to remind you and give you information on how to register to vote, but also when getting close to the election to talk about your plan, how to actually get to the vote and do so. You will also get a prize if you tweet at Etz Chaim on Twitter with your I voted sticker. Voting in this way is a great way to be active and not idle, though there still needs to be research in for whom you're voting and why. A vote with no understanding of the implications of the person elected is perhaps worse than idolatry, as it is active participation through willful ignorance in potential destruction. Now this, of course, is not the end of our action. There's still so much to be done to help make our society better and live that ideal we discussed. However, the first act of monotheism, in a lot of ways what Judaism is, was one which was not done with all aspects known of an issue. This teaches us we do not have an excuse to be inactive. In our original story, Abraham shattered idolatry and his own idolatry by doing something. I lost a pair of shoes by not doing anything. Today, voting gives us a chance to raise our voices and live our values, to bring those in power face to face of the concerns of all in this country. With our actions, we can be Jews by understanding our values. We can be monotheists by looking to all perspectives and finding that united path forward, and we can make God whole by acting on these values and elevating the world to that equitable ideal. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Baruch haba b'shem
It is now my pleasure to invite up Laura Piachok, Terry Tandeli, and Rona Rimakal. We turn now in our Machzorim to page 43 as we rise and open the ark for the Aleinu. Everyone may be seated.
He spread out the heavens and established the earth. He is our God, there is none else. In truth, he alone is our King. As it is written, know then this day and take it to heart. The Lord is God in the heavens above and on the earth below. There is none else. And it has been said, the Lord shall reign over all the earth. On that day, the Lord shall be one, and his name shall be one.
At the sacred moment, we turn our thoughts to those who have gone from life. We recall the joy of their companionship. We feel a pang, the echo of that intenser grief, when first their death lay before our stricken eyes. Now we know that they will never vanish, so long as heart and thought remain with us. By love they are remembered, and in memory they live. O God, grant that their memory may bring strength and blessing. May the nobility in their lives and their high ideals they cherished endure in our thoughts and live on in our deeds. May we, carrying on their work, help to redeem your promise that life shall yet prevail. At this time, we remember Rona Albert, Tuvia Cherney, Phyllis Eatman, Murray Friedman, Lee Kaplan, Murray Peshkin, Ida Antman, Morris Friedland, Betty Goldberg, William Maroney, Max Pfeffer, Mike Prinz, and Robert Samuels. We're also in the period of Shloshim, mourning the recent passing of Natalie Roth, mother of Dr. Andrew Roth, and Dr. Karen Gaida, friend of Cindy Swanson. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as together we recite Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found on page 45. Will the congregation please rise? Yitgadal v'yitkadal shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'vchayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agalal u'bizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ulmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudisha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Osei shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say together, Amen. Please be seated.
Tomorrow morning, during our Torah service, we'll be reading the Misha Berach, our prayer for healing. If anyone has a name they would like to give us for that prayer, please either give Rabbi Kaznowski and I the name this evening or tomorrow morning, or you can email it to us or our Executive Director, Carol, anytime tonight or tomorrow morning. We continue now with our closing song, Adon Olam, as I ask everyone to please rise. After our benediction, we will join together at the back of the social hall for an oneg as we turn now to page 162. And now, at the beginning of a new year, we pray for blessing, the spirit of wisdom and understanding.
Amen.
the spirit of insight and courage.
Amen.
The spirit of knowledge and reverence.
Amen.
May we overcome trouble, pain, and sorrow.
Amen.
May our days and years increase.
Amen.
Eternal, our God and God of our people, renew us for a good year.
Amen and amen.
Join together now in Kiddush and in Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'te'avo. Shana Tova.
Wonderful job. All right, so we missed a couple of
facility.